Imagine the lights go out for good. No warning, no explanation. The grid fails. You flip the switch, and nothing happens. No fridge humming, no Wi-Fi signal, no hot water, no lights. Just silence and the creeping realization you're on your own now. This isn't some sci-fi horror flick, it's a very real possibility. Power grids around the world are aging, fragile, and increasingly under threat from natural disasters, cyber attacks, or even planned shutdowns. And for those choosing to live off-grid by choice, this is daily reality. Either way, if you're not ready to live without electricity, you're not ready at all. Now's the time to stop depending on a system that can fail in an instant. In this guide, we'll break down how to truly survive without power, what you need to eat, how to store water, how to cook, stay warm or cool, keep clean, and communicate when the modern world goes dark. No fluff, no fantasy, just raw, blunt survival tactics for a world that's growing more unstable by the day. If you wait until the power's already out, you're too late. Let's get started before it's lights out for good. Section 1, Mindset and Basics. Let's get one thing straight. Surviving without electricity isn't just about gear. It starts upstairs. If your mind's not ready, it doesn't matter how many solar panels or canned beans you've hoarded, you're going to fail, and fail fast. This isn't camping for fun or some weekend digital detox. This is survival in its rawest form, and it demands a total mental reset. You've been conditioned to rely on comfort, convenience, and instant access to everything. Now it's time to unlearn all of that. 1. Shift your mindset. This is your first and most critical tool. Not a gadget, not a generator, your mindset. Without electricity, every part of life gets harder. You don't get to hit a button and have coffee brewed. You don't get to tap your phone and check the weather or call for help. You adapt or you break, period. Mental resilience is your survival fuel. It means staying calm when your food starts running low. It means pushing through discomfort when your clothes are damp and the firewood is wet. It means embracing problems as they come, not whining, not freezing, not fantasizing about when the lights come back on. Adaptability is everything. You'll need to accept that discomfort isn't the enemy. It's part of the new normal. Cold showers, inconsistent meals, bugs in your space, and darkness that feels heavier than you remember, it's all coming. If you can't handle inconvenience, you're not ready for off-grid life. Here's the truth. The grid has made us soft. We've gotten addicted to ease. But survival has never been about comfort. It's about grit, discipline, and being okay with doing more with less. You're going to have to slow down, pay attention, and make deliberate choices. And that's not a punishment. That's clarity. That's control. Once you lean into that shift, you stop being a dependent consumer and start becoming a capable human being again. This is about rewiring the way you think. If you want to survive long-term, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable and fast. 2. Know why you're going off-grid. Now, before you even pick up your first tool or make your first prep, get crystal clear on why you're doing this. There's a massive difference between choosing off-grid living and being forced into it. Intent matters because it shapes your entire setup. If you're choosing to go off-grid as a lifestyle, you're building something sustainable and long-term. You'll invest in renewable systems, grow your own food, learn how to repair things, and create a life that works with nature, not against it. You're planning for decades, not days. It's not just about survival, it's about independence and freedom from the system. If you're prepping for grid failure, whether it's because of economic collapse, cyber attacks, war, or government overreach, your setup has to be focused on speed, stealth, and durability. This is emergency mode. You want to stockpile fast, learn only the essentials, and harden your mind to deal with chaos when everything around you falls apart. Either way, this isn't a weekend hobby. This is life without safety nets. Once you understand your why, you can start building the right skills, supplies, and systems around that. Because the biggest mistake people make is copying someone else's plan without considering their own needs, region, or end goal. So stop dreaming. Stop assuming someone's coming to save you. Whether you're escaping the system or preparing for its collapse, the first step is to own your choice. Build your mindset and start taking control of your reality before reality takes control of you. Section 2, Water is life. No water, no life. Get this wrong and you're done? Here's the blunt truth. You can survive without power. You can scrape by without food for weeks. But if you don't have water, you've got 3 days max. And that's if you're lucky. The human body starts shutting down fast without hydration. And yet, most people have no clue where their water even comes from, let alone what to do if that source dries up. In an off-grid or post-electric world, your tap stops working. Municipal water systems run on electricity. Pumps, treatment plants, and infrastructure all go down when the grid does. So when that tap runs dry and you don't have a plan, you'll be left staring at your empty sink while your body starts dehydrating from the inside out. Water is your #1 priority. Without it, your fancy tools, your stocked pantry, even your shelter, they mean nothing. This section isn't optional. It's life or death. So forget about comfort for a second and let's focus on the one resource you literally can't live without. 3. Finding and collecting water. If you think cases of bottled water are going to save you, think again. That's a temporary crutch, not a solution. When you're living off-grid or the system has collapsed, you need to know where to get water. Consistently, safely, and sustainably. Rainwater harvesting is one of the smartest, simplest off-grid strategies there is. All you need is a rooftop, a gutter system, and some clean barrels. Rain is free and often overlooked. Just one heavy downpour can give you dozens of gallons, if you're prepared to catch it. The key is using food-grade containers, filtering out debris like leaves or bird droppings, and storing it right. Do this right and you're in business. Do it wrong and you're drinking roof runoff laced with bacteria and dead insects. Natural water sources like streams, rivers, lakes, and ponds are your backup lifeline. But don't let the clear look of mountain water fool you. Crystal clear streams can still carry Giardia, E. coli, or worse. Always treat what you collect. Always. If you're lucky enough to live near a spring or underground seep, that's gold. Mark those spots, guard them, and never take them for granted. In a true survival scenario, you might even need to get creative. Collecting morning dew with cloths, digging for water near dried creek beds, or draining it from plants. Know your terrain. Scout your area. Water is out there, but only if you know where and how to find it. 4. Purification methods. Finding water is only half the battle. The other half? Making it safe to drink. Contaminated water is one of the fastest ways to get sick. And sickness off-grid can be a death sentence. Diarrhea, vomiting, dehydration, it's a vicious cycle, and without modern medical care, it can kill you. Start with the most reliable method, boiling. Bring water to a rolling boil for at least 1 minute. It kills nearly everything, bacteria, parasites, viruses. It's fuel-intensive, sure, but it's effective. Just don't skip this step. Next up, filters. Get yourself a quality gravity-fed filter like a Berkey or a portable option like a Sawyer Mini or Life Straw. Don't cheap out. Filters remove particulates and many pathogens depending on the model. Combine filtering and boiling when in doubt. Layer your protection. Then there's solar disinfection, aka the SODIS method. Fill clear PET bottles with water and leave them in direct sunlight for 6 hours, or 2 days if cloudy. UV rays can kill off most harmful organisms. It's low-tech, but it works when fuel or filters aren't an option. Just make sure the bottles are clean and the water's not too murky. Lastly, chemical purification. Iodine tablets or chlorine drops are compact, cheap, and kill most nasties. But they leave a taste and aren't ideal long-term. Use them in emergencies when you're on the move or to double up with other methods. Bottom line, never drink untreated water. Ever. One mistake could wreck your system, weaken your body, and destroy your chances of survival. 5. Storing water safely. Once you've got clean water, your next challenge is keeping it clean and accessible. There's a massive difference between short-term and long-term water storage, and getting this wrong can cost you your supply. Short-term storage is for quick access. Think jugs, bottles, and dispensers you can rotate through easily. Label them with dates. Use BPA-free food-grade plastic or glass. Store them in cool, dark places to reduce algae growth or plastic leaching. Rotate every 6 months, yes, even if the container is sealed. Don't take chances. Long-term storage requires scale and serious planning. Use large barrels. 55-gallon food-grade drums are the gold standard. Store them off the ground, away from sunlight and chemicals. Treat with water preserver drops if you're storing it for more than a year. Never use containers that held anything toxic. Cleaned out isn't good enough. Keep in mind, one person needs at least 1 gallon per day for drinking, cooking, and minimal hygiene. That's 30 gallons per person per month. Multiply that by your family size and the time you're planning to live off-grid. The numbers get big fast, but running out of water isn't an option. Also, plan for redundancy. What if one container leaks? What if a barrel gets contaminated? What if a wild animal gets into your source? Back up your backups. Store water in multiple locations and formats. You never want all your eggs or your hydration in one basket. Section 3, food without the grid. If you can't eat, you won't last. It's that simple. Let's get this straight. When the power goes out, for real, for good, your kitchen turns into dead weight. The microwave, fridge, oven, toaster, blender, all useless. Your fancy appliances and frozen pizzas? Just expensive junk. Most people have no idea how to feed themselves without electricity. And when the lights go out, that ignorance turns lethal fast. You can't rely on Uber Eats or a stocked supermarket. When the trucks stop rolling and the stores empty out, you're on your own. And don't kid yourself, hunger will change you. It makes people desperate, sloppy, even dangerous. If you're not ahead of the game when it comes to food, you will fall behind. And falling behind off-grid doesn't just mean going hungry. It can mean getting sick, weak, and useless when it matters most. So in this section, we're ditching the romanticized homestead lifestyle fantasy and getting brutally honest about how to cook, store, grow, find, and stockpile food when the grid is down. There's no magic bullet here. It's about practicality, planning, and building real self-reliance. If you don't figure this out now, you'll be one of the many looking at a pile of raw rice wondering what the hell to do with it. Let's make sure that's not you. 6. Cooking without electricity. When the plug doesn't work, you're left with heat, flame, and a little creativity. Forget your electric stove. Now it's about what works when there's no juice. Rocket stoves are a game changer. They're cheap, efficient, and burn small twigs or biomass. A few sticks and your boiling water are cooking a meal in minutes. Plus, they burn hot with less smoke. A major bonus when you don't want to advertise your location. Solar ovens are another solid choice. Zero fuel needed, just sunlight. They're slower, sure, but they're safe, clean, and surprisingly effective. Perfect for baking, slow cooking, or sterilizing water. Just know you're at the mercy of the sun. Cloudy days, you're eating cold beans. Fire pits are the old school classic. Every off-grid home needs a solid fire cooking setup. Build a safe pit, get a grill grate, and master basic fire control. Open flame cooking isn't glamorous. It's hot, dirty, and you'll mess it up the first few times, but it works. Bonus, you can heat water, dry clothes, even make charcoal. Propane stoves and camp stoves are great for quick cooking, but they rely on a finite fuel supply. Stockpile wisely, and never use them indoors unless they're rated for it. Carbon monoxide is no joke. Bottom line, if you don't already know how to cook without electricity, you'd better start practicing now, because a pile of dry rice and beans means nothing if you don't know how to turn it into an actual meal. 7. Food preservation. Once the fridge dies, your food's on a ticking clock. That frozen meat? Rotting? Leftovers? Spoiled? Cheese, milk, fresh veggies? Done. So if you want to keep eating when the power's gone, you need to go old school. Canning is your first line of defense. Pressure canning for meats, low-acid foods, and stews. Water bath canning for jams, fruits, tomatoes, and pickles. Done right, canned food lasts for years. Get a real canner. Learn safe techniques. Follow tested recipes. Guesswork in canning is a one-way ticket to botulism. Fermenting is another ancient method, and it doesn't need any electricity. Cabbage becomes sauerkraut. Cucumbers become pickles. Milk becomes yogurt or kefir. Fermentation preserves nutrients, adds probiotics, and keeps food stable for weeks or months. Dehydration strips moisture, which means no mold, no spoilage. Use a solar dehydrator, a low-temp fire setup, or even air dry with the right conditions. Dry meats, fruits, herbs, and veggies. Store in airtight containers and you're good for months, maybe longer. Root cellars are nature's refrigerator. If you've got earth, you've got a cold storage unit. Build underground or into a hillside. Store potatoes, carrots, apples, onions, things that like it cool and dark. Humidity control matters, and so does ventilation. Get it right, and your crops will last all winter. Forget relying on frozen foods. They're worthless once the power cuts. Learn these methods. Practice now, because when the world goes dark, preserving food isn't a hobby. It's your lifeline. 8. Off-grid food sources. You can't live off canned soup forever. At some point, the stockpile runs low, and then it's time to produce your own food. Welcome to the brutal, beautiful reality of off-grid food sourcing. Gardening is essential, not optional. Even a small plot can give you greens, beans, potatoes, and herbs. Focus on high-yield crops with calories. Squash, sweet potatoes, beans, corn. Learn how to compost, rotate crops, save seeds, and fight pests without chemicals or a hardware store around the corner. Foraging is the original grocery shopping, if you know what you're doing. Wild berries, nuts, greens, mushrooms, roots, they're all out there. But you better know what's safe and what's poisonous. Misidentify one plant and you're not just hungry, you're dead. Get local field guides. Take classes. Learn now, not later. Hunting and fishing bring protein to the table. Whether it's squirrels, deer, rabbits, fish, or birds, if it moves and you can catch it, it can feed you. Traps, snares, bow hunting, fishing lines, slingshots, all of it matters. Know the seasons. Learn how to field dress and preserve the meat. Wasting a kill because you don't know how to gut it is just as bad as starving. Raising livestock takes work, but it pays off. Chickens for eggs, goats for milk, rabbits for meat. You don't need a farm. Just know how to feed, breed, and protect them from predators. And yes, you'll need to learn how to kill and butcher. This isn't a petting zoo. It's survival. If you can't grow it, find it, or kill it. You don't eat. Simple as that. 9. Emergency food stockpiling. Before the grid goes down, while you still have the luxury of grocery stores and deliveries, stock the hell up. Not just snacks and cereal, real long-term survival food. Think calories, shelf life, and ease of prep. Start with staples: rice, beans, oats, pasta, flour, sugar, salt, powdered milk, oil. These last a long time and can be the base of almost any meal. Add canned meats, canned vegetables, nut butters, and dried fruits. Freeze-dried meals are great if you can afford them. Lightweight, long shelf life, and just add water. But don't count on them alone. They're expensive and often low in calories. Build a rotation system. Don't just toss everything in a bin and forget it. Use what you store and store what you eat. FIFO, first in, first out. Keep an inventory. Check dates. Update often. Don't forget comfort food. Chocolate, coffee, spices, bouillon, even hard candy. Morale matters. A hot cup of broth or a sprinkle of cinnamon can go a long way when you're eating rice for the 4th night in a row. And store smart. Use food-grade buckets, Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers. Keep things dry, cool, dark, and rodent-proof. One mouse can destroy weeks of food. One leak can ruin a barrel of rice. Protect your stash like your life depends on it, because it does. Section 5, lighting and power. When the lights go out, you either adapt or live in the dark. Let's face it, when the grid fails, you'll be plunged into a level of darkness most people today have never experienced. We're not talking about a dim room or a flickering bulb. We're talking pitch black, can't see your own hands, stumble and break your neck darkness. And when night falls hard and fast, most people realize how much they've taken light and power for granted. Without electricity, your phone becomes a useless slab. Your flashlight dies after a few hours. You can't charge anything, and your fancy gadgets are just dead weight. This isn't just inconvenient, it's dangerous. You need light to move safely, work, cook, and stay sane. And you need power, even a small amount, to keep essential tools running, to communicate, or to power up critical systems like water filtration or medical gear. If you think candles and batteries from the dollar store are going to cut it, you're not serious about off-grid survival. In this section, we're cutting through the guesswork and laying out real, workable solutions for lighting and generating off-grid electricity without relying on the power company to come rescue you. This isn't about luxury. This is about function, safety, and control. You don't need to power your whole house. You just need the right setup to keep yourself lit, connected, and operating. So stop depending on dead infrastructure and start learning how to generate and manage your own power. 12. Alternative lighting sources. First priority, light the dark. When the sun goes down, you better have a reliable way to see. Flashlights are great, but they eat batteries fast and can fail when you need them most. Oil lamps are simple, time-tested, and reliable. Kerosene, lamp oil, even DIY vegetable oil setups can burn for hours. Keep them clean and ventilated. Never leave them unattended. And stock extra wicks. These are old school, but they work. Solar lanterns are one of the best off-grid lighting solutions out there. Charge them during the day, use them at night. No fuel, no noise, no fuss. Choose models with replaceable batteries and good solar capacity. Bonus if they double as power banks. Candles are better than nothing, but don't count on them as your main source. They're weak, short-lived, and dangerous in enclosed spaces. Keep them on hand for backup, nothing more. Don't just light your space. Light it strategically. Focus on work areas, paths, and safety zones. You don't need to flood the whole house, just enough to function. 13. Generating off-grid power. Next comes the real game changer, making your own power. You don't need to light up your whole house like Times Square, but you do need to charge radios, lights, maybe a fridge or fan. Here's how. Solar panels are king. Quiet, renewable, and scalable. Even a small setup can charge lights, phones, radios, or run a small appliance. Go bigger, and you can run freezers, tools, and more. Get a quality setup. Panels, charge controller, batteries, inverter. Practice using it now, not when you're desperate. Wind turbines can supplement solar, especially in cloudy regions. They're more complex and require wind exposure, but they produce power day and night. Think of them as a long-term addition, not your primary source. Hand crank generators and bike generators are your last resort good for emergencies or charging small devices when everything else fails. Great to have, but they'll wear you out fast if you're relying on them too much. Rule number 1, power what matters. Lights, radios, communications, maybe a water pump or medical device. You don't need Netflix, you need to survive. 14, battery storage and inverters. Now let's talk about storing that power. Because generating electricity is useless if you have nowhere to keep it. And that's where batteries come in. Use deep cycle batteries like AGM or lithium iron phosphate to store solar or wind energy. They're designed to be discharged and recharged repeatedly without burning out. Hook them up to a charge controller to prevent overcharging or frying your system. Then comes the inverter, the device that turns DC battery power into usable AC power for your regular plugs and appliances. Get a pure sine wave inverter if you want to run sensitive electronics without frying them. Keep things organized. Label everything. Protect your batteries from extreme cold or heat. Store spares. And know this, battery storage isn't forever. Even the best setups need maintenance and eventual replacement. Section 6. Hygiene and sanitation. No power. No plumbing. No excuses. Stay clean or get sick. Let's cut through the niceties. When the grid goes down, the bathroom stops working. No flushing toilets. No hot showers. No sewage treatment plants handling your waste in the background. What you flush now becomes your problem. And if you don't have a plan in place, it's going to get nasty, fast. Here's the blunt truth. Most people are completely unprepared to handle their own waste, and they have no clue how fast things can spiral. Without sanitation, it won't take long before your living space becomes a breeding ground for disease. Diarrhea, skin infections, contaminated water, and even cholera can become real threats. Not in some third world war zone, but right in your backyard. Survival isn't just about food and water. If you're not managing your hygiene and sanitation, you're just waiting to get sick. And when there's no hospital to run to, one infection can knock you out. Or worse. Forget the luxury of daily hot showers and scented soaps. In a no-power world, staying clean becomes a strategic operation, not just a comfort. This section covers what most preppers gloss over. The dirty side of survival. Toilets without plumbing. Bathing without hot water. Disposing of waste safely. You can't afford to skip this. It's not glamorous, but it's absolutely essential. Ignore it and the mess will build until it buries you in it. Let's break it down. 15. Toilet options without plumbing. You may not like to think about it, but let's be clear. Everyone poops. And if you think your fancy flush toilet will keep working without power or water, think again. When the grid fails, your bathroom turns into a ceramic paperweight. What you do next determines whether your home stays livable or turns into a biohazard. Composting toilets are the best long-term off-grid solution. No water, no plumbing. They separate solids and liquids, use sawdust or peat moss to control odor, and break waste down naturally. If you've got the cash and the time, invest in a proper system. They're clean, sustainable, and surprisingly low maintenance. If you're on a budget, bucket systems work just fine. A 5-gallon bucket, a toilet seat lid, heavy-duty trash bags, and a supply of sawdust or kitty litter. After every use, cover with dry material. When full, tie it up and bury it deep in a designated area away from water sources. It's crude, but effective. Outhouses are old school, but still get the job done. Dig deep, at least 4 to 6 feet, and build a simple structure for privacy and rain protection. Keep a pile of lime or ash nearby to control smell and help decomposition. Ventilation matters, and location is everything. Keep it at least 200 feet from any water source. Whatever method you use, you must control smell, insects, and pathogen spread. One slip up and you're not just living in filth, you're inviting disease. 16. Staying clean without a hot shower. No electricity means no water heater. So unless you've got a propane system or a backup generator, say goodbye to your steamy 15-minute showers. But that doesn't mean you give up on hygiene altogether. Staying clean is non-negotiable, because filth leads to illness and illness leads to death. Solar showers are cheap, simple, and effective. Fill a black bag with water, leave it in the sun for a few hours, hang it up, and rinse off. You won't get 5-star spa treatment, but you'll stay functional and stink-free. Sponge baths are the go-to when water is scarce. A bowl of warm water, a clean rag, and some biodegradable soap are all you need. Focus on armpits, feet, groin, and hands. These are your bacteria hotspots. Wash daily if possible, every other day at the very least. Wet wipes, especially the unscented alcohol-free kind, are excellent for quick cleanup, especially in winter or when water is in short supply. Stockpile them, but remember, they're a short-term solution and not biodegradable. Dispose of them properly, not in your compost toilet. Don't forget dental hygiene. No toothbrush? Use a clean cloth and baking soda or salt. No toothpaste? Not a crisis. But skipping oral care will catch up with you fast. An infected tooth off-grid is a medical emergency you don't want to face. Stay clean. Stay alive. 17. Waste disposal. What you flush, toss, or throw away in modern life disappears into the system. Off-grid? That system is you. Every piece of waste, human, food, or trash, becomes your responsibility. Human waste needs to be buried, composted, or sealed and hauled far away. Never dump it near water sources. Never burn it, unless you really know what you're doing. Keep waste areas covered, fenced off, and clearly marked. Treat it like a biohazard because it is. Gray water, that's wastewater from washing and cleaning, should be dumped in a gravel pit, not just anywhere. Avoid dumping near gardens or water sources unless you're using eco-safe, biodegradable soaps. Even then, filter it through mulch or rocks to prevent contamination. Trash management is another must. Burn paper and cardboard. Compost food scraps if you're not overrun with pests. Bury or securely store anything that can't be burned or reused. And always think long-term. What builds up in a week becomes a disaster in a month. Rodent and pest control is critical. Trash and waste attract vermin. Vermin spread disease. Build barriers. Keep waste sealed. Use traps and natural